Alright, guys, this is Mega Mind here. So, I promised you guys I was going to do a video, talking about UDBs and how to engage and frame your trades from UDB. All you need to know about UDB. And I think a lot of us have been, or many of us in the group, do not really understand what UDBs are and how you can engage trades from UDBs and how this concept works. So this video is for you. I'm going to be doing it like a course, a crash course on UDB. So let's hop right into it. Excuse me. All right. Now, what is UDB? UDB is a concept that I developed for simple trading, a very simple trading concept. Now, the idea is identifying where strong buys and strong sells are and where they failed. Yeah. So UDB is a concept that I use a lot to identify where these strong levels are and how price who took over from these strong levels. Are they buyers? Are they sellers? This is pretty much what it is. So for instance, there are rules to UDBs. First of all, UDB. Okay, so this is UDB. Yeah. So this is UDB. First thing first, this contains DB. It also has everything to do with previous day. It has also everything to do with being unmitigated. So please don't mind my drawings. Very, very poor. Now, this is UDB, yeah? UDB contains DB. It also contains previous day, and it should be unmitigated. So this is just the concept, and I would explain. Now, let me just delete all of this stuff. I want you to have this at the back of your mind. So, for our UDB, first thing first, you want to identify your previous day price action. It's very simple. It's that vertical line on the chart. And how do you find this vertical line? I also urge you guys to use these vertical lines on TradingView only, because if you use it on your MT5, these MT5 brokers have different time zones. Yeah, so some time zones are kind of late, but when you use TradingView, you get the accurate data. So cool. Just go to your settings, go to more settings, go to events. You see session breaks. So when you toggle it on, you find this vertical line like this. There's this vertical line you see on the charts. I'll show you guys pretty much later. So it is the end of every session, every day, every session. You see the lines appear at the end of, especially at the end of spread hours. So I want to represent that line with this. So this is our session break. So let's assume this is Monday and this is Tuesday. So the rule for UDB is that if you are looking for, if you are in Tuesday, your UDB must come from Monday. Yeah, so that's how this is the rule for UDB. So for instance, let me just draw something. I'm going to give you guys a textbook example of what UDBs are, and then we can now go to the chart to look for this stuff is simply identifying it. That's what I'm going to be doing on this first video. Just simply identifying where your UDBs are. I'm not going to be talking about how to engage, trades from these areas in one single video. Of course, I'm going to be talking about that. Like I said, this is like a crash content on what UDBs are. So cool. We have price trending to the downside, and then we had this, and then this into the following day. So cool. So let's assume this is yesterday's price action. So that's your previous day. That's where your PD comes in. Now this is your session break. Yeah, so this is the current price action. So let's assume we are in London. So how do you identify your UDB? First thing first, you want to look out for DB. So DB is simply double breaks to the upside, or double breaks and failure of it. So of course DB is just double breaks in the opposite direction. That's what DB is basically. Now, to identify UDB, the price, the market is trending to the downside, and now the time frame for this, most importantly, very, very important, pay attention, the time frame for this is 5 minutes. We use 5 minutes to identify these strong levels. Yeah, so now price is trending to the downside. The first thing you want to see is at what point did price attempt to buy in a sell scenario, right? Where at what point did price attempt to buy? So this is the point. Price attempted to buy here. We have break to the upside, break to the upside. Now this is to induce buyers to get in. So people who are looking to get in on buys would want to trade this guy to buy. You see that now? They want to trade that guy to buy. But of course, what would price do? Price took them out, making this area a strong level for sells. In other words, this was where the manipulation for the buys happened. Now it becomes a very strong area to sell. It is that simple. Now the rule for this is that there must be a double break. It can be more than 2 breaks to the upside, but it should not be less than 2. This is the rule. So cool. We can have 3 breaks, 4 breaks to the upside, but it should not be less than 2. Now, the moment you identify these areas that buyers attempted to buy, and then they were liquidated, and then these areas has not been mitigated, you see that? So the following day becomes a very strong area to sell. I mean, it is that simple. Now, the rule is there was a DB to the upside. You see that? A DB to the upside. It was broken and it was not mitigated to the following day, the session breaks. You see that now? It is that simple. I mean, it is that simple. So when you hop on your chart, the first thing you want to do is just to identify that area. See that? It's just to identify that area. Are you seeing that now? So this becomes your UDB supply for sale. It is that simple. So this is the textbook, or the textbook scenario of what UDBs are. I mean, it can be further simplified. Let me inverse this chart so that it gives you an idea of what a buy scenario, a demand is. So price is trending to the upside. We have a DB to the downside. Price took the DB out, yeah. So the area is unmitigated and maintained into the following day, and then you have your buy UDB. Simple. Like, I mean, it is that simple. You can see that. Sell DB, broken, unmitigated into the following day. You see that now? Becomes a strong area for buy. It is that simple. So I hope you guys understand this. This is textbook of what UDB is. Now, let me list out the things that you need to take note of. First thing first, it should be on the 5 minutes, correct? If it's a scenario where the market is selling, you should look for DB to the upside, double breaks to the upside. It can be more than 2 breaks, but it should not be less than 2 breaks. And then where the opposite, like you want to see double breaks to the opposite direction, and the failure of it, the moment it fails, the highs and the lows, or rather the highest point, if it is a sell UDB, the highest point is respected into the following day. If it's a buy UDB, the lowest point is respected into the following day. And then and let me also note this, in this case you have a buy UDB in Asia. The moment it has crossed this line, it can be broken. So I'm not saying that it can be broken in Asia, it doesn't matter, but it should not be broken that same day. That's just the rule. So if it's broken in Asia, it's a different thing. It's still UDB, so it means that the sell UDB has switched into buy UDB. It is that simple. I mean that simple. So cool. That's pretty much it for what UDB is. So this is like a textbook example of what it is. I hope you guys understand this to this point. I'm now going to give you examples from the charts so that you understand this from real market situation. So catch you guys on the next one. I hope this helps you understand what UDB is. Yep.